So there I was. I'd done it all right, filled out the proper application forms, turned up on time, in the right place, and there he was, a cranky old Spanish guy who knew nothing at all about me, telling me I couldn't have the job. It was the summer of 1984. I'd just finished my freshman year of college and was in Paris, where my father was stationed, to participate in the American Embassy's jobs program. As the daughter of the political counselor, there was little question that I would get a job, but instead of going for the usual office internship, I'd chosen to apply to be on the painting crew. It was something I loved to do, had experience doing from previous summers, and was actually pretty good at. Besides, I didn't want to be cooped up in an office all summer, especially after all the weeks I'd just spent studying in the library. But Mr. Gonzalez was having none of it. "You're a girl," he grumbled. "Girls don't do house painting, and you don't look strong enough anyway." To be fair, I'm only 5 feet tall, but then he was no giant himself. I protested, explaining that I'd spent the whole of last summer painting houses, interiors, exteriors, even doing fancy glaze work, but to no avail. "We're a professional crew and the work is intense." "I don't think so," he grumbled. Well, I wasn't going to back down quite so easily, even if he was cranky and a little bit scary. "I tell you what," I said, "how about you give me a trial period and I'll show you what I can do?" I guess I could do that," he conceded. "You have until lunchtime. I'll take you to the work site and you can work with Yusef for the morning. We'll see what he says about your work, then I'll decide." So off we went. It turns out Yusef was in charge of painting the ambassador's residence, but it also turned out he wasn't there when Mr. Gonzalez dropped me off. I waited, and waited, and waited, but no Yusef. As the minutes ticked by, I could imagine Mr. Gonzalez, triumphant that nothing had gotten done, and I also realized he'd have no sympathy for the fact my painting partner was a no-show. I could see my hoped-for job disappearing before me, so I looked around the bedroom that was first on the list of rooms, figuratively rolled up my sleeves, and decided to get to work myself. The first step in painting a room is to move all the furniture into the middle of the room to allow access to the walls, and there's some pretty heavy-duty furniture in there. 4-poster bed, mahogany dressers, the works. To be honest, despite all my bravado, I wasn't entirely convinced I could move it by myself. But then the mocking face of Mr. Gonzalez loomed before me. There was no way I was going to let him get the better of me, and I girded my loins and shoved that furniture around for all I was worth. A few hours later, Mr. Gonzalez came by to tell me the deal was off because Yusef had called in sick, from too much partying, I found out once I'd met and made friends with him. But the furniture was already moved, the draped cloths were down, I'd sanded and primed and was in the middle of painting the ceiling. He gave me the job on the spot, though he was still pretty cranky about it. It turned out to be a great summer, and not least because I gained the confidence of my own convictions, that when I said I was good enough to do something, I really was. Plus, the guys, yes, all guys, on the painting crew were a blast, and it was just one big party in the ambassador's residence. But that's another story.